Still having are we having the doldrums of lunch kind of a thing? It's settled in, and whatever it is. So, okay, we'll try and inspire you and get you going. That's what the theme of the conference is.
Yes, and we're very excited to be here. This is my 13th Fusion. I'm still excited every year when I come. We just did a poster session upstairs and rest down here. So it's the first time I've done a recorded lightning session at Fusion. So I'll say a lot of firsts today. Anyway, we're going to talk to you about the art of designing effective teaching and significant learning, what we called course design for significant learning. Okay, I'm Karen LaPlant and
Zala Fashant. We're Team Thunder and Lightning. It's because we want to get things more thunder, more lightning. If you've ever seen Karen move around, you'll understand why. So, okay, that'd be great. Let's do that. Okay. So let's take a look, as we go ahead and forward the slides here, let's take a look at the reason, kind of who we are and how we came up with all this. So first of all, Karen and I have worked together for 15, 16 years, and we've been faculty developers at both the system level for Minnesota State and the campus level for different colleges. We have mentored faculty. We've designed our own courses that we've taught. We have also had the opportunity, I've worked with DFINC and Associates, so I've had the opportunity of doing online courses with faculty worldwide. And on top of it, really got to the point where we're both QM reviewers. We've seen a lot of different courses from people, Quality Matters, that is, reviewers. So we've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the fantastic. And we want to really try and share that with as many people as possible, because on the campus where we work together at Hennepin Technical College, we really went from a couple, 3 courses that were Quality Matters certified to many, many courses, 70 or so courses that got certified, so that we could start to see that we became a culture of people talking about it. So really what it comes down to is this. What Karen and I and others that are working with us noticed is that, you can go back one slide yet, is that we've seen room for improvement, and we've also tried to help faculty gain that confidence to be able to design quality courses themselves, as well as build that collaborative community together, talking with one another. We've also helped thousands of faculty. At least I've had the chance to work with faculty worldwide to be able to do this, so I see that it works through DFINC. And then the other side of it is that we saw that there's a big problem with student retention and engagement, and we wanted to be able to make those kinds of improvements with that. And finally, we worked with a lot of faculty who get hired. As a dean, I would hire a faculty member, and in 2 weeks they need to teach a course, and they had no idea how to get that course ready to go in time, and yet the student taking that course needs it to be as good as the 15-year veteran down the hallway. And so it was kind of a hit and miss. We had people that would try and rush in, try and help them, but at the same time, it's the beginning of the school year for everybody, so everybody's busy. So that's where we saw the need for this. And a year ago, we sat down and we talked to John Baker about all this, and we said, this is a problem. And there's a lot of resources on campuses that are trying to help do all of this. So we formed a collaboration between my company after I retired from Minnesota State, Encore Professional Development, which is me, and we worked with D2L in being able to start to offer this course, and the course opened this morning so that people can actually start to register.
So, what's in this online course? Well, we created what we thought was needed. We have a 4-week self-paced course, but it is facilitated by at least 2 course coaches, okay, facilitators, whatever you want to call us. But we're going to be giving feedback. It should teach the learner the elements of course design by having significant learning experiences, but applying all the pedagogy and tools, okay? So it's not just about tools, it's about how to do it properly, whether it's face-to-face, blended, or online, no matter what delivery method. And the course coaches are going to guide the faculty, K-12 teachers, faculty developers, structural designers, administrators, whoever wants to know this knowledge or needs to know it. And how they're going to do it, we've got content, discussions, hands-on learning activities, we've got practice course designs, we're examining the pedagogy and the tools needed, and hopefully provide significant learning for your own students, okay? So this course, like he said, went online today, July 25th. It actually starts on August 1st. The why is because it's a student-centered design course that's going to provide your content alignment and is accessible so that it'll design you to have students succeed through increased engagement. All of us know that the big thing we hear now back at our institutions is student retention, student success, okay? So if you design your course properly and you have the right student engagement, it will lead to that. So what we've done is we've modeled best practices, okay? So it's not just, there's a design course template for new or experienced faculty, but we talk about the how and why behind the course design elements, okay? Why take years to learn all this through trial and error, which many of us have done? I know I've spent almost 30 years doing this, and this is a combination of all the things I wished I would have known. We modeled 8 or 9 of the Brightspace tools in there, and we have 9 units. We figure most people will do 2 or 3 units a week. You get a badge after completing the first 5 units, and if you complete the whole course, which may take up to 25 hours, then you get a course completion certificate. So it's a way to add to your professional development. It's not in-depth on tools, it's in-depth on the course design, the pedagogy, what you need to do, and then some examples of how to use, especially tools in D2L, okay, to make this happen. And some of the tools we covered were checklists, discussion, Dropbox, quiz, grades, surveys, rubrics, awards. We did intelligent agents and a couple others too. So quite a few of them. Okay. Now Zala's going to tell you what's actually in the course as far as units go.
So if you take a look at the 9 units, these are the things that you'll be able to see. First of all, we've got more introductory activities as to what is actually delivering significant learning. And if we take a look at what you need to do to plan for the course design, much like Jonathan was talking about, come together, what do you need to have, what's it going to be as you're going to start to look at this. You know, one of the big things that happens is as you design courses, is it really important to have the aligning of the learning, you know, everything from the correct outcomes, the learning, assessing the assessment pieces, as well as then being able to take a look at the learning activities that get you to that assessment piece. And so if you look at the best practices, of course the alignment is extremely important. Students need to understand and see why that alignment is there. They won't be asking you, why am I learning this? They should be able to start to see that through that evidence. And again, as Karen stated, when you get to that point of completing that, you can earn your first badge there. And then finally, we're going to take a look at making courses accessible to learners. There are ADA requirements that make you have content that is accessible to all that. So not only just the D2L side of how course materials can be accessible, but then what do you do with your handouts and your other course materials that are in there so that all students will be able to access those and make it far easier for them to learn. We've talked about integrating technology into your course and the kinds of things you need to consider in being able to develop a course technology plan, communicating and how you can use the tools, as well as what are the best pedagogical practices to being able to communicate within your course, and finally, what's the assessment? What forms of assessment do you get to know that your course has been done well? How can you use student feedback? How do you bring all that back together again and close the loop on that ability to be able to make sure that your course is everything that you wanted it to be? Now, there's course outcomes. We're not going to take the time to go through those right now. You can see those. They're posted up in the session here so that you can be able to take a look at that. So we'll go on to the next slide. And it's basically, again, why. As faculty or as designers, we really need to be on top of all of this, because right now there's a tremendous amount of competition that's taking place to be able to do good course design. And so this course offers you the how and the why to being able to put together those best practices. Your courses need to be engaging. You need to align your course outcomes like I already talked about. And then the other side of it, the last bullet, design your course knowing that you're delivering quality, so that you don't worry about the technical elements of putting the course together and running the course. You know it's solid, you know it's there, and as a faculty member, you get to do what you get to do, which is teach. That's usually the reason why everybody went into it, was being able to teach the material and work with the students individually to help retain them and to make sure that they're successful. So that's the reason that we have for that. Now, if we take a look at those kinds of things, the course laid out, we'll let you ask some questions about that in a minute, but we provide all of those in the different learning units. It is an opportunity to take what you need. It's a just-in-time learning opportunity, so you can simply, if you need half of that material and you pull out the things you need, that's great. For faculty who want to go through it top to bottom, that's great. So whichever way, it's very flexible for you to use what you'd like to be able to use out of it. And it looks great when you're talking about your professional development goals and the kinds of things you want to do. So for promotion and tenure, all those things, it helps to have that information in place.
And it's not just a repository where faculty can go out there and get something. They can actually do the exercises, the activities, and get feedback. Okay, so they will know if they're on the right track or if they're not. So too often we give them resources, but they never get any feedback, so they may interpret things the wrong way.
We were having a conversation yesterday with some of the colleagues here, and one of the things that we said was, really, great course design, is set up so that any student can take your course in any manner, whether it's an online delivery, blended hybrid, or face-to-face. Having that content there is extremely important. Having been a K-12 educator as well as a higher ed educator, one of the things I've noticed is that you have students who get sick. They're out. They got to go to the hospital for a couple weeks. They're not going to be back in your courses. Even if it's a face-to-face course, having all your content, all your information out there so that that student can finish the course is extremely important. Because as a dean, I've had a lot of situations where I've had to work before with people who need to drop out of a course. They want to know if they can take that incomplete because they just can't get to it because they physically can't be sitting in your classroom. This is a way to make sure that you've got all the information out there ready to go for them so they can continue to be successful. All right, questions. As we said, first course starts August 1st. We have an opportunity for you here to be able to participate if you'd like to get a chance to see it and everything like that. We have cards that are there for you to take to get more information on both of the stands with the projectors. We also will take your business card and put you into a drawing later this afternoon and email everyone that lets them know who gets the possibility at a free course. So you can actually go in there, see it. If you know a faculty member that you think it would be helpful as you take it back to your campus and it's something they'd like to look at, or you have a faculty developer on your campus and you want to give that course to them to be able to do that, that's great. So there's prizes. So if you hand us your business card, we'll take it and we'll put it in the drawing. But otherwise, let's open this up for questions and see if there's anything that we can do to answer what you might need.
So you mentioned that in addition to going through the content, that the students have the ability to actually practice what it is that you're teaching them to do with the various tools. Are you giving each student in the course a sandbox D2L shell to play with the tools? How do they get a chance to experiment with those tools as they're learning about them?
We haven't given, and we talk about students, it's the faculty or whoever the participant, the learner is, not the actual college or university student. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought that's what you meant, but I want to make sure. Right. Okay, so we're not giving them a sandbox course only because there's only so much opportunity, so much time. What we're doing as course coaches is we're talking with you and we're talking about what you could be doing. At your institution, you could probably get a sandbox course for development. And one of the things that we don't want to be able to do, we're using open courses with D2L right now, which may not be the final home for all this, but it's more difficult to be able for us to be able to set up a sandbox course for everybody. It's far easier on your campus, I think, to be able to get a sandbox course to build things into. But you will do certain assignments. We'll give you feedback on those assignments that you could then plug into a sandbox course. Great question.
Like you would do a sample alignment, or you might do a technology plan, the reasons, and then we would give you feedback on those types of things.
Other questions? All right, we were gonna open this up. Okay.
So it looks like you've put a lot of effort into developing this over the years, and you mentioned, working with DFINC and whatnot. Have you run anything along these lines before, or
Yes.
these sort of tools through something with people in the past?
Yeah, some of the people that myself and some of the other folks that have, Karen hasn't been because she's been a full-time faculty member, just recently retired. And so what happens is that we've actually run this course with faculty through DFINC and Associates before. So we've had an opportunity to really put it together to make it work. There's tons of feedback that we've gotten from people. The one thing in using the taxonomy of significant learning that does things is it really goes beyond the what are you trying to do to get students to the end of your course. It goes beyond the end. What are they going to do in the workplace? How is it going to change their lives? how is it going to be important? And I will tell you, I've had faculty, when I've been sitting at D's national workshops working with faculty, when I've been online with the online course before, it really is the opportunity to talk to faculty and give them permission to dream past the end of the course. What do I do? Well, I'm worried that they're not reading the material. I'm worried that they're not going to get to the final test. I'm not, but people have learned by what they've done in the past. They haven't learned about dreaming about what it is they'd really like to do. And I bet you I probably have 150 faculty that have said, this has been fantastic because now I get to teach the way I want to be able to get to teach. And every faculty member wants to take their students to a certain place. It's whether or not they think they can do it within the parameters of what their institution looks like. And there's nothing revolutionary about it. It's just simply good teaching, and it's getting students to think about themselves in the workplace and seeing themselves in the future. So
I think the new innovative ideas we put in here were self-paced. The first time we've actually been sponsored by D12. It's been taught not through D12, so this opens it up nationwide, but it's showing you how you do it and then giving you some examples of how in D12 you would do it. So to me, it'd be a perfect thing for any new person going into D12 of how they would use it for web enhancement or blended or online, learning how to design it the right way, what tools they might want to use, those types of things. So I think it's taken what has been known to be more, I would call it more workshop format, and putting it into a self-paced on one of the national platforms. That's how I'm looking at it.
I think in Jonathan's situation, you're lucky to have all those resources that are sitting on your campus to be able to help people do that. We have a lot of institutions that they don't have a CTL, they don't have that kind of help and support, but they're a D2L member. And I know you try to go to community and you try and find the videos and you try and get all the stuff that you can possibly get, and thank goodness they're putting all that stuff out there. But we're really trying to help guide that so that it makes it easier for people to walk through it and be able to design something and then know that they've got something good when they're done. And you know what that experience is like from what you do.
Like Zala said, especially if you don't have full-time people at your school, that can help you. And many, many, many colleges and universities do not have that. They may have one person to handle everybody, and they may not have anybody. Okay? So this is resources we believe everybody needs. And it could supplement even if you had people. You're not always available 24/7. This is available 24/7, for somebody that needs it. Just in time, you could do it like the month before you start a semester or in the summer.
Are there other questions? Jonathan, we all agreed, we had a little Zoom conference before the conference here. We all agreed that if you wanted to, we'd be here. We're open for questions, things like that. And if Jonathan's okay with it, we'll close this down. Give us your business cards if you'd like to be involved with that. We'll be here just to talk with you and everything that way. Is that okay, Jonathan? All right. Thank you very much for attending.